Hello everyone. Today we'll be looking into the polite forms of verbs. We saw the informal forms of verbs in the last few classes. So it will be converting into formal form and its conjugation rules today. And you can find this lesson on page number 82 of the material given in the description box. So 존댓말, that's gonna be our topic for today. So we have a table given here down below, and the table uses the word 먹다. 먹다 means eat. So we'll be looking into the different forms, that is the different formal forms of the word 먹다, be it 현재형 or 과거형. So the first table is a written form and the second table is spoken form. But then the thing is, even though the yo form is like you can see yo here everywhere at the end. So the yo form is used only during speaking. The 씁니다 form is used both in writing and speaking, and it is a more formal form than the yo form. So 먹다, the present tense, that is 현재 시제 or 현재형, that is 먹습니다, 먹지 않습니다, 안 먹습니다. The past tense 먹었습니다, 먹지 않았습니다, 안 먹었습니다. So these, suppose you are making some examples for them. In that case, if you're looking at 먹습니다, you can say 지금 먹습니다. That means I am eating right now. 저녁 먹었습니다. 저녁 means evening. So what do you eat in the evening? Dinner. So you can't eat the evening time. You can't eat time. So when you say 저녁 먹습니다, even though it literally means evening 8, 저녁 먹었습니다, evening 8, it would literally mean 8 dinner. 생고기 먹지 않습니다. 생 means raw. It can also mean life, but it also means raw when it is used as a prefix. When it comes alone, it means life. When it is used as a prefix, it means raw. So 고기 means meat. 생고기 means raw meat. 생고기 먹지 않습니다. So you're saying that you don't eat raw meat. 점심 안 먹었습니다. 점심 means lunch. So you're saying that you didn't eat lunch yet. 점심 안 먹었습니다. If you're saying 점심 안 먹습니다, that would mean you don't eat lunch. That means you don't usually eat lunch. But then when you're saying 점심 안 먹었습니다, you're just saying that you didn't eat your lunch yet. So we'll be going into the conjugation rules, and we'll be starting from the plain form that we already saw in the last few classes, a plain form, the dictionary form of verbs, and how to convert that into polite present tense. 존댓말 현재 시제. So that's in the next page. So you start by taking the da of the end of the verbs. And once that is done, you categorize it into those that have bachim and those that don't have bachim as usual. So if it doesn't have bachim, you just give it a bachim. And that bachim would be pip. And the da you took off, in that place you would add a nida. So pip as bachim and nida at the end. So we have examples here. 하다 would become 합니다. 가다, 갑니다. Even though you're writing 갑니다, you would read it as 갑니다. So it's literally becoming m pronunciation, mother m, that kind of m pronunciation. 갑니다, 오다, 옵니다, 쓰다, 씁니다, 말하다, 말합니다, 바라다, 바랍니다, 잘하다, 잘합니다. Some other examples are 만족하다. 만족하다 means satisfied, and 만족하다's 존댓말 form would be 만족합니다. 사랑하다. 사랑하다 means to love, and that formal form or 존댓말 would be 사랑합니다. 좋아하다, and 좋아하다 means to like, or to be okay with something, and that would become 좋아합니다. 죄송하다. 죄송하다 means you're sorry about something, and that would become 죄송합니다. 미안하다. Again, that would be a bit more less formal version of 죄송하다. 죄송하다 and 미안하다 is the same meaning. It's just that 죄송하다 is a bit more formal than 미안하다. So 미안하다 would become 미안합니다. 행복하다. 행복하다 means happy, and happy formal form would become 행복합니다. And the next is those that have bachim, and in case it has a bachim, you don't really need to give it a bachim, of course. And what you would do is the da you took off at the end, in its place add simmida. So those who don't have bachim, it would become immida, and those who have bachim, the end would become simmida. 먹다, 먹습니다. This is something that we started our class with. 걷다, 걷습니다. 듣다, 듣습니다. 읽다, 읽습니다. 입다, 입습니다. Some more examples are given here. 싫다. 싫다 means you don't like it or you're not okay with it, and that will become 싫습니다. 좋다. And 싫다 and 좋다 are opposites. So you already know that 싫다, 좋다 means good or to like, or that you're okay with it, okay with something. So that would change to 좋습니다. So 좋아하다 and 좋다 both are derived kind of from the same thing and have similar meanings, but it is used differently depending on different situations. And that's something you get used to as you practice and get used to the language and the situations that you're put in while using the language. Next is also another set of opposites. 없다, 있다. 없다 means not there, and 있다 means it's there. Something, whatever it is. And 없다 would become 없습니다. 있다 would become 있습니다. So the extra examples that I've given for all of these is a combination of nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And I have given it that way to make you understand that all of these, be it 명사, that means nouns, 형용사, that means adjectives, or 동사, which means verbs, all of these behave in similar patterns when you are converting it from one form to another. So the conjugation rules are literally the same. We are just going through the same thing over and over again so that you get clear about it, and if there is anything special or anything different that pops up, we get that into our notice. That's the only reason that I'm going over the same thing over and over again with different things. So we are learning an exception to the second rule that we learned that those 동사 with bachim. So suppose bachim is real. In that case, you would change the real to be that, as we saw in our first rule, and of course add nida at the end. That is 살다. If you see 살다 here, the real coming as bachim here changes to bir, and in the place of da, you're substituting it with nida. So it is a mixture of the first and second rule. 살다, 삽니다. 놀다, 놉니다. 알다, 압니다. 날다, 납니다. 걸다, 겁니다. 말다, 맙니다. 밀다, 밉니다. The next one is converting something from 반말 과거 시제 to 존댓말 과거 시제. So it's all past tense. We are just converting it from 반말 to 존댓말. Before we saw present tense, that is 현재형. Now we are seeing 과거형. So the rule here is pretty much nothing. You just take off the da at the end and substitute it with 씁니다. Just that, because we have the 상식 already as 받침 there from the form we started with. We started with 과거형 반말. Like 먹다, we already know the past tense of 먹다 is 먹었다. We already learned that in our last few classes. And when we already have 먹었다 like that, all we need is a 씁니다 at the end. And that would be 먹었습니다. So that's happening to all of the verbs given here. 했다, 했습니다. 갔다, 갔습니다. 왔다, 왔습니다. 봤다, 봤습니다. 먹었다, 먹었습니다. 달렸다, 달렸습니다. 만났다, 만났습니다. And we have a few more. That is the last one here. How to convert anything into anything from 반말 to 존댓말. That's what we're gonna see. Up until now, it is dictionary forms and 과거형. Now we are seeing just the general form, leaving the 입니다 and 씁니다 forms. How do you handle the yo forms that is commonly used in conversations, informal conversations? There's pretty much nothing you gotta do. Only just add the yo to the end of the informal version of that sentence or conversation or word or whatever you were gonna say. Just go ahead and add a yo at the end. If the 입니다 and 씁니다 forms are hard for you in the beginning, when you are starting to play with the language and starting to use the language to a native Korean, in that case you want to speak formally and you have to speak formally, you can just add a yo at the end to everything you want to say. And that way you're being formal, you're being polite, and people will understand that you're putting in the effort to be formal and be polite to them, but then you are not that used to the language, so they will excuse you and also praise you for trying, and if they are kind enough, they might help you to get better at what you're trying. So to the examples, hey, so we already know that hada, the dictionary form, the plain form of do, becomes hey. And to make hey into formal form or 존댓말, all you gotta do is add a yo at the end. So hey becomes 해요. 가, 가요. 와, 와요. 안 해, 안 해요. 안 봐, 안 봐요. 안 사, 안 사요. 안 자, 안 자요. 먹었어, 먹었어요. 걸었어, 걸었어요. 만났어, 만났어요. 안 했어, 안 했어요. 안 갔어, 안 갔어요. 안 먹었어, 안 먹었어요. 안 빌렸어? 안 빌렸어요. So you can make a ton of formal conversations now that you know how to handle the formal forms. So I expect you to make conversations or simply sentences, examples using the formal forms that you learned today if you want to learn the language. And also, as usual, if there are any doubts, feel free to put it in the comment box, be it doubts or your assignments. I'll be checking all of it personally. And yes, we all are busy people, and to spend time on classes and assignments like these just on YouTube, it might be hard, yes, but then if you want to learn the language, if you want to learn any language, you gotta put in the effort to make it work. So I hope that you do, and these classes that I put on my channel is very holistic, and because of that, if you don't interrupt the classes and see everything in order, you're gonna be pretty much have a very strong foundation in the language which you could automatically build up on. So I hope you put in the work and you persevere with the passion that made you to start learning the language. So thank you for listening. We'll see each other with a new topic in the next class.